All right, guys, it's Monday. It's time for On the Clock. Just bring it up right off the bat. Last week, probably my worst week of the season so far for college basketball. Not going to run from it. We'll address it. Just couldn't get anything to go my way. But yesterday, Rider +6 gets it done. 4% winner. The good news, I guess this is good news. Since I went to, 3, 4, 5 units, a lot of the plays that have lost have been the 3%ers. The last couple 4%ers have won, Sacred Heart and Rider. So I'm not sure how I'm going to stake it out going forward, but I do feel like we're due for a little bit of an uptick. So I do have a 4% college basketball play up now on my page for tonight, and hopefully we can make back up some of the deficit by going on a little run and hitting the 4%ers after we lost some of the 3% plays. As far as On the Clock is concerned, I'm going to do this show on weekdays. I've come to realize that it's just way too difficult to do this on a Saturday when there's 145 games. I need to make sure I'm doing due diligence for the client. Got to focus on just getting client plays out on Saturday. And then Sunday, I had some stuff going on yesterday, but we'll usually try to do some sort of live version of On the Clock on Sunday where we do a live stream and hit the games that are on the Sunday slate. I wish they spread the games out a little bit more. I think we should have more Friday, Sunday, and Monday games, but they don't ask Trig to the NCAA doesn't contact me, when it comes down to making the schedule. I think I can make a better schedule. The fact we have no games on a Sunday night ever is baffling to me, but it is what it is. So time for On the Clock. That's the annoying buzzer that I still haven't replaced yet. So we're going to go 90 seconds on the clock. We're going to talk 4 games, and we'll hit the bigger ones. So I guess the marquee matchup is going to be Minnesota, Maryland, and that's only because I'm going to use UCLA Rutgers for total of the day. If you go to the WagerTalk YouTube channel, I did a long breakdown of this game. So I'm going to do the condensed 90-second version here. I like Minnesota +16. I know they're not a great team, but I don't think Maryland is an elite Big Ten team. I think they're very good. I don't think they should be laying 16 or 15.5 points here. Minnesota, as bad as they are, is still capable. Dawson Garcia is still like one of the better players in this conference. 18.4 points per game. The thing that interests me about Minnesota is the fact that as I started to dig into their numbers, their defense is better than I think they get credit for. They're a fringe top 100 defense nationally. They contest everything. Their block shot numbers are really good. And, they play slow. So if the defense is playing well, that can keep you within 15 points. And then the other thing here is like Maryland still needs to have, in my opinion, a pretty good offensive night to cover this game. So the way I look at it, if you get a good defensive performance by Minnesota, or you get an off shooting night by Maryland, you can cover. Then there's the other outlier of Minnesota's offense actually playing well, because we did just see them in an 89-88 shootout with Ohio State. So I like Minnesota plus the points here. I didn't add this to my client card. I did give it some thought. I thought about adding this one because I played against Maryland on Friday unsuccessfully with UCLA. This one was close for me. Minnesota plus the points. I just think there's more ways that Minnesota covers than Maryland covers in this game. And so for that reason, we'll say Minnesota +16, +15.5, whatever it is right now. Okay, let's go to total of the day. I suppose this would be the other marquee game. I also did a full-length breakdown for this one on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. So if you want an extended cut, go check that out. But the quick version is, I don't know why you would want to bet on either of these sides right now. Like they're both in the same, but one of these teams' season's about to officially go off the rails after tonight. Both have lost 3 straight. Both have been completely uncompetitive in their past 2 games. You've got the Mick Cronin calls his team out publicly after the Michigan loss. They go to Maryland. They arguably played worse. That's why I have no real opinion on the side here. But I do think if both of these teams kind of give it their best effort after a couple of really bad efforts, I think it translates into this game playing under. When UCLA is at their best, that means their defense is elite. And for a while, when they were beating teams like Gonzaga, Oregon, Arizona, they had a top 10 defense in the country. And that defense has really been poor the last couple times out against Maryland and UCLA. I think, with a couple of days to think about those performances, maybe we see a better defensive effort here. I also don't know that Rutgers has the interior offense to exploit UCLA like Maryland did. It's really Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, and the rest of the Rutgers team is just not that good offensively. So I think that helps. Rutgers isn't as good defensively this year as past Steve Peichel teams have been, but again, they're at home, and I expect a decent effort from Rutgers. I think that means they bring an effort on the defensive end. The total of 139 feels high to me, and so for that reason, I am going to say under 139 UCLA Rutgers for total of the day, which has been the best. Total of the day has been the best part of this show. That has been the hottest segment during our little swoon to start January. The total of the day has been hot. So do what you will with that. Under 139, UCLA Rutgers. Okay, time for boots on the ground. Let's go down to Elon, North Carolina. This is a 9 p.m. nationally televised game tonight, CBS Sports Network, between Campbell and Elon. And let's get that timer going. So I really like it. I like this Elon team a lot, but I can't justify laying big spreads with Elon while the one Simpkins twin is still out. So TK Simpkins went down in the East Tennessee State game, like 4 minutes into the game, hasn't played since. They were destroyed in that game, completely blown out. The three games they played after the East Tennessee State game, surprisingly, Elon was able to win and cover those games. That was Greensboro, Marshall, NCAAB. But they were also all of those teams have their own issues. Greensboro, A&T, and Marshall all have their own issues. So I thought that was a little bit misleading that Elon was still able to have the same success without TK Simpkins there. The last two, they didn't cover. They I believe they beat Hampton by 8. They were an 8.5-point favorite. And then William & Mary beat them pretty easily last time out. That's kind of where I'm at on Elon until TK Simpkins comes back. I don't think you can lay 7.5 points with this team against many teams. He's the playmaker. He's the catalyst of their offense. The defense is still pretty good without him, but I really think he makes their offense, what their offense is. Campbell, they've looked pretty capable. This was a team that I had at the bottom of this league. They've actually been pretty capable so far. I believe they've covered down 4 straight games. They have a big here that's been out for a few games. His name is escaping me. I probably should have wrote it down. Oh, Taryn Frank. He's been out for a couple games. If he were to come back, I'd really like Campbell in this spot against the number. This won't make my client card because I can't stomach betting against Elon, a team that I was very high on coming into the season, with a team like Campbell, a team that I don't think is very good at all, but they've really have impressed me the way they've played lately. So this will remain a lean. I lean toward Campbell plus 7.5. Not something that's going to make my client card, but actually I'll retract that. If I had good injury info here, like if Simpkins was coming back for Elon, I would flip to Elon in this one. If he's out, which I think he's likely still out, but Frank were to come back for Campbell, I think Campbell plus 7.5 would be a pretty good play. For show purposes, my lean in that game is Campbell plus 7.5. I don't think Simpkins is back yet, and I don't think Elon should be laying big numbers without him. Okay, no parlay of the day. I'm not going to bring that back yet because that has not been good. So we'll finish this up with the poll play, and that'll take us to the ACC, Boston College, Notre Dame. I got to see Boston College play in person first week of the season against VCU on a neutral floor down in Annapolis, Maryland. They were atrocious, just as I expected them to be. I did a couple previews for ACC hoops coming into the year. I had Boston College ranked 17th out of 17 ACC teams, and amazingly, they might actually not be as bad as Boston College is. They might not be the clear-cut worst team in this league because the entire bottom half of this league is just so bad. I live in the Syracuse area. I've been around for some down years in the ACC, but with the new format, the 17 teams, I don't remember this many just god awful teams in the ACC. I don't ever remember a year where there was so many bad teams. There's still some good teams, like Duke's obviously really, really great. Louisville's coming around. Pitt's having a good season. But there is just so many bad teams in this league that the bottom half, like, I don't know how you justify laying 11.5 with Notre Dame. They're one of those bottom half teams. Now, is Notre Dame a better team than Boston College? Absolutely. But again, 11.5 is just wild. And the one thing I'll give Boston credit, Boston College a little bit of credit for, they've played hard at times, and it's yielded a couple of really nice results. Like that Boise State win is a nice looking win. They beat Missouri State. They hung around with Wake Forest. So I kind of like Boston College. I don't know if I would ever be able to stomach an actual sizable play here or a client play, but like Boston College plus 11 makes sense in my opinion. Notre Dame's going to slow the game down a little bit. They like to run half court offense. They may score. They could potentially score quite a few points here, but man, 11.5 seems like a crazy number to lay here, especially when BC, for their lack of talent, they don't really lack effort. They will play hard, and I think that might be good enough to keep them within like single digits, maybe losing this game by 8, 9, 10, sneak in and get the cover. So I like Boston College plus the 11.5. That'll be the lean for this one. 4 free picks right there. I do have a 4% top-rated client best bet. We've hit a couple of those in a row. I think I'm going to hit another one tonight that I love on tonight's card. So head on over to WagerTalk, wt.buzz/AT. Grab that, and I'll see you guys back in the morning for another episode of On the Clock.